Hi guys, this is 6th grade, chapter 3, lesson 2. We're going to go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you need to understand with this is that if it is a negative number, then the higher the number is, the less its value is. Okay, so we know that when we are working with positive numbers, just positive numbers, the higher away from 0 we get, the bigger the number is. Okay, it's the opposite with negative numbers. Okay, so when you have -4 and -8, well, 8 seems bigger to our brains because we haven't dealt with negative numbers before, but -8 is actually smaller because it's further away from 0 going negative. Okay, so that's the first thing that you need to understand with these. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a couple. Okay, if you have 0 and any negative number, could be -1,000,000, 0 is going to be bigger. Okay, we have a positive and a negative. Positive is always going to be bigger. Now we have two negatives. Okay, now here's where that chart, that number line comes in handy because 9 is further away from 0, which makes -8 bigger. Okay, positive and a negative for number 5. Positive is always going to be bigger. Okay, you guys try this one. Okay, and try that one. Okay, so 6 and 7 you guys do. Okay, we're going to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. Okay, so the smallest one is going to be the one that's furthest away from 0 on the negative side. Okay, that's going to be 7. So -7 goes first. Okay, now we're going least to greatest still. A negative is always going to be smaller than a positive. -2 and 3. Done. Okay. All right. So smallest, -5. Next, 0. Next, 2. Okay. All right, guys, we have all negatives here. Remember that the one furthest away from 0, if they're all negatives, is going to be the smallest. So -12, -10, -9. Okay? Okay. I cross them off as I go so I don't mix myself up and try and use a number again or keep looking at it thinking I haven't used it yet. So you guys do these ones. You totally can. I believe in you 11 through 13. Then we're going to come down here and we're going to do from greatest to least. Now we're going to do the opposite. Okay? I have a positive and I have a negative here, so 0 is going to be in the middle. Okay, I know that. Okay, from greatest to least, well, that means that 13 is going to be the greatest and -13 will be the least. Okay, so greatest, there's only one positive number, that's 7. So now -11 or -5, -5 is going to be bigger because it's closer to 0 on the negative side than -11. Okay, all right. So 1 biggest, -8 next, -9 last. Okay, you guys do 17 through 19. We are going to go down and do numbers 20. Meg and Derek played a game. Meg scored -11 points and Derek scored 4 points. Write a comparison to show that Meg's score is less than Derek's score. Well, Meg's score, Derek's score is bigger. That's it. Okay, Misha is thinking of a negative integer greater than -4. What number could she be thinking of? Well, she could be thinking of -3, -2, or -1. Okay, any of those. Okay, you don't have to write all three, you just got to write one, but a negative number has to be negative. Integer is just number greater than -4. Anything closer to 0 on that negative side is going to be greater than that. Okay, I'm going to go over. You guys are going to do the lesson check. Okay, and we are going to start on the spiral review. Fiona starts at the beginning of a hiking trail and walks 4/5 of a mile. She counts the mileage markers that are placed every 1/10 of a mile along the trail. How many markers does she count? Well, okay, so in order to get from 5 to 10, I have to multiply it by 2. So if I do the same thing to the top, then 4 times 2 is 8 markers. Okay, 8 over 10. Okay, every 1/10, well, then there's 8 of them. Okay, if Amanda hikes an average speed of 2.72 miles per hour, how long will it take her to hike 6.8 miles? Well, scrap paper, 6.8. Oh, divided by 2.72, except you cannot have a decimal outside. So 1, 2, 1, 2, which means we need to put a 0 there and lift that up. Okay, I don't know if we'll have to go further or not. So, okay, so 272. I don't happen to know those multiples. I'm going to go ahead and do my multiples. 272 times 2 is 544. So 272, 544, 272 times 3 is 816. That is way up there. So we only need to go to 680. So that's going to be 2, which is going to be 544. Subtract. Okay. I cannot take 4 away from 0, making that a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 4 is 3. 6 minus 5 is 1. So 136. Goodness, I might actually have to do one more. Okay, I'm going to put a 0, bring it down. It's after the decimal point, so I can put a 0 and bring it down. And then I'm going to do 272 times 4. Okay, which gets me 1,088. 272 times 5 is 1360. There we go. So 5, 1360, subtract 0. Okay, so 2.5 hours. Okay, it's being measured in hours. Okay, write your work down, pause it, do whatever you need to do, write it down. Okay, okay. The area of a rectangle is 5 4/5 square meters. The width is 2.14 meters, which is the best estimate for the length of the rectangle. Well, in order to find the area, I would have to measure the length times the width, and then I would get the square meters. I don't have the length. Because I don't have the length, I need to do the opposite. So I need to do 5 4/5, and I need to divide that by 2 1/4. Okay? That would get me the length. Okay? So I need to do Jedman. Okay? 5 times 5 is 25, plus 4 is 29. And I'm going to keep that over 5. You keep your denominator. Okay? Divided by 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, and I keep my denominator. Now, I keep, I change, and I flip. Okay? Okay. So, I don't think I can reduce anything. So, I'm going to go 29 times 4 is 116, and 5 times 5 is 25. Now, when I divide 116 by 25, let's see. Because I can't have the top being bigger than the bottom. Okay, so I have to do the division. Okay, 25 is going to go into 100 4 times, and I can't put another 25 in there. Okay, but it's like 4 quarters into $1 would go in 4 times. Okay, so 4. Okay, 4 times 25 is 100. Subtract, I get 16. So I would have 4 and 16 over 25. Okay, so okay. it actually, okay. So 4 and 16 over 25. Okay, now it wanted us to actually do the estimate instead. So sorry, guys. So 2 and 1/4 is about 2. Okay, and 5 and 4/5, well, 4/5 is almost another whole one. Okay, so if you ignore everything that I just did, sorry, guys, then 2 would go into 6 because 4/5 is almost another whole one, which would make that 6. So 2 would go into 6 about 3 meters. It's being measured in meters, so about 3 meters. Sorry, guys. Okay, didn't actually have to do the hard math. Okay, Lillian bought 2.52 pounds of tomatoes and 1.26 pounds of lettuce to make salad for 18 people. If each person got the same amount of salad, how much salad will each person get? Well, we are going to go ahead and add up everything that we have. So 2.52, okay, and 1.26. We're going to add that up so we know how much we have altogether, okay? So drop our decimal first. That's the very first thing we do. 2 plus 6 is 8. 5 plus 2 is 7. 2 plus 1 is 3. So now we have 3.78. But it says enough for 18 people. So we're going to divide that by 18. Okay? So 18 is going to go not into 3, which we need to put our decimal up. Not into 3. I'm going to put a placeholder. Into 37, if it goes twice, that's 36. Subtract and I get 1. 1 is smaller than 18, so I can bring down my 8. And look, 18 into 18, 1 time, that is 18. Get 0 left over. So 0.21, and it's being measured in pounds. Okay. All right, guys, show your work. Okay? Pause it, do whatever you need to do to show your work, okay? Make sure that your decimal is in there. Okay? All right, guys, good job. Thanks for hanging out for 2.2. Come back for 2.3.